Hey guys, we are back and feeling almost better, I'm going to say. So something of a flu, something of a COVID. I don't know exactly what the heck it was, but when we travel, things tend to happen. So we're back and we're back to work. Been back trading for a couple days. I'm going to say I talked to Rick on my buddy Levada down in Texas the other day, and best advice I can give everybody is when you're sick, stay away from this stuff. Don't try to force it. Don't try to push it because your thinking gets clouded and your reaction time gets slower, and that really does make a difference, especially when you're in the business of trading. Now, today was an interesting day. We had things going on in the markets that drove things lower first thing in the morning. We had a lot of interesting geopolitical stuff happening. We had the Russian and Korean sort of gathering there. You know what I'm talking about, and we also had Apple coming up. So Apple was going to be a disruptor. The geopolitical stuff was going to be a disruptor, and right out of the gate this morning, we had a market that was moving lower. Now, we did have a good trade right off the opening bell in Apple. I said in the first hour trading pit there, I was back in there today, and I said, we're going to look for a bounce off that central pivot or thereabout, and thereabout turned out to be the inflection off the pre-market low. So that worked out nicely. As a matter of fact, it worked out nicely twice. And then when it came to the triple Qs, I had a pretty solid game plan in place, and I left that there until the Apple conundrum started, right? Because Apple can almost have the same kind of an effect on the markets as an FOMC announcement. So at that point, it's better to just walk away for a little bit and come back when things start to normalize. So let's take a look at what happened this morning and see what it is that I was focused on. So you can see, all right, we had the shot lower in the morning, popped higher, no big surprise, right? Tried to get back up into the lower part of that closing range from yesterday, and then whoa, right? So big slide down. And what that gave us then was a nice way to set up for a trade that actually didn't happen. So we had a couple things that did work out. We had some trading here in this box, right, where we were up against that pivot, the S1 pivot on the Qs, which was at 374.59. And that just gave us some range down into about a 20-cent scalp, something like that, 25 cents that you could pull out of that trading range there. But really, the bigger picture trade that I was looking for was the one that resulted from this fib retracement here. Actually, I'm lying. Let me go back a little bit. This was the fib retracement that I was looking for. Was up into the session VWAP there. And then from there, a move back down into roughly this area right here, these highs, so about 373.80. So that was going to be a nice setup, and it was all great, and it looked like it was going to come together. And then we started the Apple stuff, so I went ahead and canceled those trades and said, you know what, for the time being, let's wait and see what happens. So we had the move up above here, and let me just say on the future side of it, the pivot corresponded more to about 374.90 on the Qs. So I always have to keep an eye on that kind of stuff and figure out how much you want to make that adjustment. So the pivot was a little bit higher on the NQ than it was on the Q. And when we got up into this upper band here, we got two standard deviations out of our average price. We got away from our VWAP, and we had this reversal back down again. If you had the presence of mind, and I'm saying if you had because I did not, but I was walking away, as I said. I was waiting to see what happened, but then this move back down through 374.90 made for a nice entry and got you all the way down to that profit target that we talked about earlier. So those things were playing out rather nicely over the course of the earlier part of the session. And now going into the closing bell, what I really think I'm going to focus on is seeing if we get some measured move types of retracements, so that we've got this one here. And, we had this big move down first thing in the morning, and then, this move higher. And now we've got to move down lower again. If we can get a move back up into this anchored VWAP, right? This session VWAP, and roughly into this overhead volume here, then I think we have a relatively good trade set up, especially if this gets closer to this. So if we start seeing these things tighten up, if we start seeing things track more sideways, then I think we've got a good opportunity in both the triple Qs and in the NQs. So whether you're trading the futures or you're trading the ETF, there's probably an opportunity there. And if not, then just sit on your hands and let's wait for tomorrow and see what the market gives us first thing in the morning. All right, so that is it for me for today. I'm focused on this stuff. I'm just going to set these trades up. If they come to me, they come to me. If they don't, then I'm just not going to have anything going on. Also, keep an eye on Meta. Keep an eye on Microsoft, Tesla. Those have been trading really nicely today. Apple, obviously, is more of an early trade, at least for me. But those highly correlated stocks, Meta, Microsoft, right, Tesla, if you see them start to get a little bit of a divergence and then maybe soften up as the index rolls or as the index starts making a move, that's a good opportunity if they're right at a support and resistance line to go ahead and take a shot at that trade again. All right, and like I said, if nothing else, we'll be back tomorrow. So tomorrow's another day. Okay, have a great rest of the trading day, and I will see everybody in the morning.